If before the fall they were naked and unashamed, then after the fall they were naked and ashamed. And the real question is why? Why were they ashamed of their nakedness? Was it because they ate a literal piece of fruit? Or is it possible that they were enticed into indulging in something more carnal? Something that would lead to genes and genetics and the genesis of humanity. So this seems to be a pretty important detail. In the previous chapter makes a point of notifying the reader that prior to the fall, they were naked and unashamed. Those two qualities were linked together. But after the fall, both of those qualities are negatively impacted. Now she's received this sexual knowledge, and of course, and naturally, she felt shame. And who was responsible for this? The Nakash, the serpent, the one who beguiled her. And we know once someone's innocence has been taken away, it cannot be given back. You take a young child who has no concept of sex and you let them get on your smartphone and visualize something like pornography, and if they see the actual sexual intercourse, they now have a knowledge. They've now eaten from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and their innocence has been taken away. And they're going to begin to look at the world and humanity and the body through a different lens. Their eyes have been opened. And I think of the garden story in a very similar way. Satan wasn't just there to get them to defy God, although that was part of it. But yet when they gazed upon each other's naked bodies and they looked at that genitalia, there was no shame. Now this kind of reminds me of babies and young toddlers. Anybody who has kids knows that a 2-year-old runs around naked all day long. They're not concerned about their nakedness. They can see their parents naked and there's no shame. And why is that? And I think the answer is obvious, because their minds are still innocent. Like Adam and Eve, they had no understanding of sex. They're completely naive to what those reproductive organs were for. It's not until the kids get older that they begin to realize that these things have to be covered, that children eventually understand that they have to cover their nakedness. So I think that Adam and Eve are a lot like innocent children in the garden. They had no idea. Where do you think this carnality originated from in the first place? This isn't just some random genetic permutation that is inside of all man. This characteristic was deeply embedded in man's genetic consciousness, their genesis, going all the way back to the very beginning. And that's really what Genesis is about, the development of Adam's genes. And so I would submit to you and propose the theory that Satan was really the true and first pedophile. His very nature is predatory. He pursues victims that he can deceive, dominate, and manipulate. I believe he was the older, wiser, and more experienced being than the naive Eve. And he took advantage of her innocence and her naivety.
Americans who understood the urgency of the rise of Nazism were Zionists, and they organized to rescue Jews from Germany under the auspices of the Jewish Agency for Palestine. The Romance of a People, which the Jewish Agency for Palestine supported and sponsored, was the highlight of Jewish Day at the Chicago World's Fair. It was really something that there even existed a Jewish Day at the fair. There were a lot of ethnic days, and we'll talk a little bit about how Jewish Day came to be one of them. But it was the highlight. It would use a chorus of over 3,500 people, colossal stage properties, as you can imagine, amplified sound, the very latest in lighting effects, music that spanned 4,000 years of Jewish history. And you may ask, how could a minority population coming under attack, as it was, assert its pride so forcefully at an international exposition? And the answer lies, I think, in the special conditions of the World's Fair that sought to bring the whole world into one concentrated space, but that is also in large part attributable to the men and women who created and pushed the production forward. And so the people behind the pageant, the producers, one really cannot speak of the romance of a people without speaking of one key figure who produced the pageant against resistance and in spite of the gargantuan undertaking it was to create a performance event that would fill Soldier Field. And that was Meyer Weisskall. Weisskall was then the executive director of activities in the Midwest for the Zionist Organization of America, and he was the producer of the pageant. He spearheaded it, and he was perhaps spurred on, he perhaps gained confidence because he had produced a very successful Hanukkah pageant the year before, actually just maybe 5-6 months before. And he felt that performance would be the appropriate representation of the Jewish people. And this ideation of Jewish identity, focused on cultural assimilation and profession of faith, was on permanent exhibit at the fair in the Jewish booth at the Hall of Religion. And this other conception of Jewish identity, which was focused on cultural assertion and a revival of Jewish national life, became, in fact, the dominant representation of Jewish Day at the fair.
The child pornography industries and going into the human trafficking industries are just like forums where you would go and buy drugs, which we will see.
Blogger Ace of Swords claims the code words used are, quote, very well established early internet and dark web code words for child porn, pedophilia, and BDSM, end quote.
And I think it's the same girl. As you can see, her stomach there is covered with something. He comes over with some type of handkerchief and he's wiping her. He was trafficked in Houston, Texas by the elite pedophile ring, a human trafficking of women and children and babies. Go forward. Oh my God. It's sideways.
You got a nice body on.
There are places on the dark web known as red rooms. It is where people or children are kidnapped and broadcasted over live stream while they are being raped and tortured and murdered. This was represented in an independent Serbian film. This is how all of that snuff, as you have heard it, gets produced and sold on the dark web.
The former bassist from the Scorpions, Ralph Reicherman, has admitted that he once attended a snuff party where someone or multiple people were murdered for the entertainment of the guests who paid up to $100,000 to attend. Reicherman, originally from Germany, bumped into a paparazzi from TMZ who asked him about Berlin's popular fetish parties, and this was his stunning response.
I went to one time, I've seen really bad.
Was it like a donkey show or?
No, actually, I think they actually kill people there and stuff. They pay like up to like 100,000 people to see people get
executed.
I'm not kidding.
They're gonna be fingered.
You know what? They're all going to be on the Lolita Express heading out to Jeffrey Epstein's island. Jeffrey Epstein was just busted again for pedophilia, sexual offenses with underage girls. We've got Anthony Weiner, underage girls. Alan Dershowitz has been charged with this as well already before.
You know, a lot of people that are going to be accused and convicted, I hope, of those kinds of things.
You think you're hot shit, don't you? You think you're hot... Listen up! What's my name? What's my name? My other name, what do you call me? I am your father! From now on, you will call me your father. Shut up! You will call me your father. What is my name, huh?
I'm just a kid who's 4. Each day I grow some more. I'm singing. Each day I grow some more. I'm something more. I'll stand by you. Daddy, finding my way. Growing up is not so tough. I had enough. There's a lot of fun stuff with
Investigators have analyzed this audio, and it is believed that the man torturing these children sounds a lot like John Podesta.
You think you're hot shit, don't you? You think you're hot... Listen up! What's my name?
I'm just a kid who's 4. Each day I grow some more. I'm singing. I'm just a kid who's 4. Each day I grow some more. I'm singing. Each day I grow some more. I'm singing. I'm just a kid who's 4. Each day I grow some more.
And we are so proud of her.
I am your father. From now on, you will call me your father. Shut up.
She's done an amazing job, and she is not done yet.
What's my name?
So thank you for being with her.
You will call me your father.
She has always been with you.
What's my name? You think you're hot shit, don't you?
Just get lost.
You think you're hot shit, don't you?
Just get lost.
You think you're hot shit, don't you?
Just get lost.
The following footage was aired on United States national television in 2015 at the United States State Capitol building, where former Vice President Joe Biden was filmed molesting and sexually harassing multiple young girls between the ages of 3 and 14. You are about to witness one of the most public and condemning video evidences of child molestation by a high-profile government official. Imagine how deep this all goes when what you are about to see and hear is being used as an introduction. Pay very close attention to the parents and adults around these children, then you will see how these sick elite trade in their children for rank and power.
All right, come on, slide in here.
Thank you. Maggie, do you want to come over here?
Let's come on. Come on, Maggie, make me look better, okay?
Oh,
there we go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, nice to see you guys. Thank you. See you back home, I hope.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Come right on this side of mommy. No, you come over here. That's it. Keep going. You're standing right next to me. There you go. And then we're going to have...
There you go.
We're going to switch here. You two come here.
There we go. You can hold the Bible. Hang it in.
Everybody else is looking forward to it.
My daughter. How old are you?
18.
tea. You get right in the middle here, okay? Come on.
Great.
Great.
Okay, got some more family people. Come on in. Yeah, we got
Okay.
someone go behind there. So behind there.
Come on, you jump in here.
Right.
Did you tell the vice president?
There we go.
It's okay.
Okay, right here.
Can I leave just alone? By the way, I was young and I had Jewish parties. Grandpa's one of those guys.
That's nice of you.
No, I'm not saying. He knows I do. I genuinely mean.
Come back in with one big rip shot. Come on in.
Do you know what my dad used to say? His granddaughters have one important job. Take care of the pop. That's the most important one.
Okay, the gentleman with
Crazy title. This is a long band. Walking in this
Okay.
That's right in by the loop. Don't tell me what. All right, here we go. Here we go.
The Podesta emails are loaded with encryptic messages about child sex, asking for advice or information where to meet, and just flat out bragging about their latest exploits. Here are just a few of the thousands of Podesta emails that were uncovered by WikiLeaks. In those emails, it not only paints a picture of a child sex trafficking ring, but it becomes clear that John Podesta was acting as one of its overseeing handlers, someone who was in the know and who was facilitating these activities.
John Podesta has been hired to be a columnist for the Washington Post. You would think after everything that's conspired, after all of this stuff, look how they're just ignoring it and avoiding it. And they just go, the media's debunked Pizzagate, it's no big deal. Even though Podesta has admitted to his emails being hacked by Russia, but nobody in the mainstream media will ask him about what he was referencing as far as his handkerchief or his love of pizza and hot dogs and all the disgusting things that were found in his emails. The realtor found a handkerchief. I think it has a map that seems pizza related. Is it yours? They can send it if you want. I know you're busy, so feel free to respond to it if it's not yours or you don't want it. Maybe you could respond to that email that was sent to you, John. What was she implying? That it was your handkerchief that you left that had a map that seems pizza related? Saying, will you join us for a small gathering a few days before the pizza extravaganza? Am I supposed to believe that a bunch of adults in politics are having a pizza party extravaganza where they're just going, it's an extravaganza, we're all eating pizza? It makes me absolutely sick, and it's not a big deal to anyone else out there. Not a big deal at all. Here's another one from January 6, 2014, where you say, would love to get a pizza for an hour or come over. Oh, you'd love to get a pizza for an hour. Because that makes sense. Grammar-wise, it makes sense. We all want to eat a piece of pizza, the food, for an hour. Huh? Wonder what you're referencing there, what you want for an hour. Should we get into the hot dog stands? I mean, should I even bother?
In file 56492, last night was fun, still in torture chamber. In file 30231, dreaming about your hot dog stand in Hawaii. File 10037, it has a picture of two small Asian girls eating pizza. The man says, as John said, it doesn't get any better than this. In file 49348, would love to get a pizza for an hour. Very good, I'm seated with the kids, so little wired. File 19480, titled, Head Count for Pizza. The email is color-coded in black and white and it says, we have one slice and we need to know how to thinly slice it. In file 40312, have to settle for the pasta John gave us at Christmas. This email was sent 3 months after Christmas. And then on April 11, 2015, Jim Steyer, who has been publicly promoted as a child activist and philanthropist, but in reality is linked to Pizzagate and is a known child rapist, wrote to Podesta saying, "Hey John, we know you're a true master of cuisine, and we have appreciated that for years. But walnut sauce for the pasta? Mary, please tell us the straight story. Was the sauce actually very tasty? Love to all the Podestas from the Steyers. Cheers." Using the pedophile code found on the deep web that we learned about in part 1 of this series, this message literally translates to an orgy with colored little boys. And Steyers asked John's wife Mary if that was actually very tasty. Mary Podesta responded saying, "And please tell me how this sentence or question as it is put makes any sense whatsoever. Walnut-growing Northern California surely knows and celebrates walnut pasta sauce? Actually, what surprises me is that we haven't already served it to you." "Indeed, Mary," with a smile on his face, Jim Steyer said. "I'm coming to town the week after next and will bring some walnuts." This was and is enough proof to show that the Podesta emails are linked to a child sex trafficking ring. And this is huge news, not just because of the hideous crime that is being perpetrated on these children, but because of the perpetrators involved. John Podesta was not only Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman when she was running for president, he also served as a counselor to Obama and acted as chief of staff to Bill Clinton. He is not an elected U.S. official, but it is clear that he has a huge influence in American politics.
You can play with them if it makes you happy.
But I want her to specify exactly what that means. We're not playing checkers here. If I meet her, I'm paying to have sex with her kids or to sexually abuse them.
So you've just asked her, what will they do to me?
So she says jerking, kissing, sucking.
Then you've put she's put yes.
All right, so now we have a woman who is offering to sell 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12-year-old children to a foreigner for $18.
She can do what? She can do that. Okay.
She can do that.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, so how much for sex?
Are we going to let them hear?
They can say here. She's a sweet girl.
This recent BBC expose on the inner workings of pedophile groups brings new context to the Podesta WikiLeaks. In an email dated October 8, 2015, only 2 years ago, mind you, Podesta and many others were invited to a pool party. Here's what that email says. Concerning the reprise of our gang's activity, visit to the farm in Lovettsville, I thought I'd share a couple of notes. We plan to heat the pool so a swim is a possibility. Bonnie will be quote-unquote Uber service to transport Ruby, Emerson, and Maeve, 11, 9, and 7. So you'll have some further entertainment, and they will be in that pool for sure. Now this quote tells the gang that children in bathing suits will be the entertainment. It tells them their age and their sex, and it seems to be the primary content of the communication. Now you'd think in a normal invitation it'd be like, why don't you all come over for drinks and dinner and maybe even a swim? But here it's like, come on over. We got 3 kids coming. They're going to be wearing nothing and swimming in the pool for your entertainment. They will be in the pool for sure, they say. This is exactly the kind of talk that pedophiles are looking for. Come over, we got naked kids and they'll be your entertainment. The pool, the kids, the Podestas. Case closed. Remember, John Podesta was Bill Clinton's chief of staff, in charge of secretaries and the interns that were blowing Slick Willie in the Oval Office.
First of all, how are 3 kids under the age of 12 going to be entertainment for DC politicians, lobbyists, Catholic priests, and businessmen? And we find in the 1981 documentary Boys for Sale that child prostitution and trafficking is referred to as the farm circuit. And that is more than suspicious considering that Grand Tam, as they
If you're struggling with any of these sluggish thyroid symptoms like getting out of bed in the morning, thinning hair, brittle
caller, made multiple farm references in her emails with John Podesta. Hashtag, the farm is real. She wrote, Evelyn is growing up. Soon she will be the queen of the entire US of A. Right now, for a limited time only, you can spend some time with her online, raw and uncut. Take advantage of this now, as in the future, she will have the power of life and death over you. There are other emails that are beyond disgusting and disturbing. Podesta's clients were actually giving him feedback about his menus and delivery options. In WikiLeaks ID 26345, an email to John Podesta and his wife Mary Podesta. Mary and John, I think you should give notice when changing strategies which have been long in place. I immediately realized something was different by the shape of the box, and I contemplated who would be sending me something in the square-shaped box. Lo and behold, instead of pasta and wonderful sauces, it was a lovely, tempting assortment of cheeses. Yummy. I am awaiting the return of my children and grandchildren from their holiday travels so that we can demolish them. Thank you so much. I hope you and your gang are well. I miss you both. P.S. Do you think I'll do better playing dominoes on cheese than on pasta?
What the fuck?